This next question comes from Jocelyn over on Facebook, and she asks, best through the blocks of being the face of your brand. I've been doing digital marketing for a few years, but have never been the brand before. I'm struggling with being the center of my brand, mainly with photos on Instagram. So any tips there would be useful. Also, any tips for Instagram would be majorly appreciated. Thank you so much. What an awesome question. This, I think, you're either super, I think in my experience, you're either super comfortable with being the face of your brand and, kind of, like you said, taking pictures, being very personal brand focused, or you are extremely uncomfortable with it. And so for me, I kind of sit a place in the middle where I've done both, right? I've had companies where I did not have, like my first company with my husband, that was not, my face was I was totally behind the scenes. Like you would not see my face anywhere. And I was super comfortable with that. And I think that there's definitely a lot of, kind of challenges when you're the face of a company. It's just a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure all the time. And so I can relate, obviously, and I totally understand, but there's also a lot of perks. And so I think there's two key things here, Jocelyn. Number one, it just comes, as practice. You got to stretch yourself and be a little bit uncomfortable and put yourself out there. It's hard because it's your name, right, on the products. It's your name on the website. It's your name on the social media content. And it only gets harder as you hire people and grow a team, which would be my next tip or advice. As soon as you're profitable, as soon as you can afford to work with someone on one-on-one or on a per project basis, or even hire your first employee full time, please do that. It really helps to be reminded that you are a company and that you have a team. And it might take a couple years to get there. We're just at the stage where we are a team of 10, and we're actually, I feel like now, this year, we are more of a real company than I've ever felt like we were. And so that has a lot to do with the amount of people on your team and the amount of people supporting you, and kind of making sure that all the behind the scene work is done, and that you have great pictures, and that those pictures are well edited and all that stuff. So I think it's just practice and just being exposed to that. I also think that you have to learn from a kind of emotionally healthy standpoint to delineate or separate who you are, like your identity, from the company, and realize that you are not the company. You are not the business. I mean, you are and you're not, but you're way more than just, the face of the company or the brand. So realizing, for me, it took years for me to kind of detach those two, especially when, we're receiving criticism every single day, nonstop, because we're putting ourselves out there. That is the price that you pay when you're actually actively doing something, that matters in the world, something that fulfills you, something that's bigger than yourself. You're going to get criticized. And so for a really long time, it was a huge mental kind of push and pull for me. I really liked being accessible and sharing my message and trying to help people as much as I could. And I knew that the best way of doing that was being in front of the camera or behind the microphone, and kind of doing that every day. But it was really hard to receive really harsh feedback, really strong criticism around very petty things, and sometimes really deep things. So a lot of the criticism was really helpful, and it made me better, but a lot of it was really hurtful too, and it still is. So you gotta separate yourself and realize you are not just this company, right? You are an empowered individual. You have incredible intrinsic value and intrinsic worth, God-given value, God-given worth. You have interest, and you, can definitely contribute to society in so many other ways that are not just this company and this brand. If you separate yourself from the business, it really helps to kind of see things from a bigger picture. It helps to not take things super personally. I'm not going to say that I'm perfect at this, by the way. Like, there's many times where I still take things very personal. But I think it does help. And the more criticism you get, the more scary things happen where you make mistakes publicly, or there's, an issue in the company or in the product or in the brand. You learn from that, and you grow thicker skin, and you evolve and you mature, and then you really become comfortable being the face of your company eventually, and you like it because it gives you control and it gives you the ability to reach people on a much more personal level than if you were just kind of hiding behind a logo and you're not necessarily the face of the brand. When it comes to Instagram and photos, I think my best tip there in terms of kind of figuring out assets and all that good stuff is dive into photography. There's some great online courses. I'll actually link a couple of our followers and members who are photographers and have really awesome training information around that. Learn how to use a camera, whether that's your iPhone or, a digital camera or even, a professional camera. Just getting the hang for photos and playing with that can really bring out an artistic sense, and I love it. It makes me feel super creative. I don't do it very often, but all the photos that you guys see on my Instagram, on the website, everything, I take on my own, or my husband takes for me. So I've learned how to use a DSLR. I'm not perfect at it, but I think that I can defend myself. And so learning, how to get more comfortable with your equipment is really important, super key. And then when it comes to Instagram, tips on that, be as personable as you can. I think Instagram is really unique in the sense that it allows people to get to know you on a personal level, and you don't always have to just post, business stuff. Make it a point to post something funny every week or post something that interests you. Have a segment that's kind of out there. We are getting back to our Girl Talk segments on Thursday. I'm actually really excited to bring that back because it allowed me to connect with my audience on a deeper level. I have many interests like health and fitness and skincare and just girly things, interior design, real estate, all those things are really near and dear to my heart. And so sharing some of that on Instagram has been really, really great to just build that human connection for sure. I also think that is super key to be engaged. Oftentimes we expect and we ask of people things that we're not willing to give in return. So when you're posting on Instagram, make sure that you're actually engaging with people. Reply to your DMs, try your best to answer as many comments as you can. Engage in your followers' content as well. It's not just, a one-way street here. And then just be patient. Instagram is really crazy. You gain followers and lose followers. I know there's a lot of hacking and, growth hacking strategies out there, and I've tried a few. I've never really seen success with them. So for me, Instagram is a huge relationship platform where we get discovered through other platforms. And then on Instagram, we actually build brand and we build connection with our audience more so than just leveraging it as a platform for discovery. Whereas many other people are really good at that, and you should definitely listen to their advice. That's just not how I use Instagram at this moment. YouTube is our main platform. It has always been our main platform. And we use Instagram as a secondary kind of supportive platform. I'm not saying that's what you need to do. I'm just saying that's how we use it. And we have seen a lot of success in that, especially when we're doing launches and product promotions and just building awareness for our existing customers inside our courses or inside the business lounge. It's a great place to keep that communication rolling. So I would always, kind of definitely encourage you to play a little bit of both. And the final thing I would say with Instagram specifically, because again, we have that lens of profitability, I think that it's super important to understand that you should be promoting on Instagram, right? So, and there's a science to doing that in a way that isn't over the top and puts people off. So I would say 20% of the time, maybe every 5 posts, share your lead magnet, share maybe a special offer with your audience, tell people what you do, guide them to that free consultation or that webinar or whatever the first step is in your sales journey. Super key, super important. I hope that's helpful. I know that's very kind of generic advice, but this is a Q&A and we don't have time to dive in deep into every single aspect, but I would love to hear from you guys. If you want us to dive deeper into these topics, let me know, request it in the comments below, or come over to Instagram and actually DM me. I'm always on there and I love answering your DMs as much as I possibly can.